The interstellar comet 3I Atlas continues to intrigue the scientific community as it approaches the Sun, with a series of notable anomalies that have led some researchers, including prominent Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, to question its natural origin. Amid these debates, NASA's perceived silence on crucial data has fueled speculation. The object, which is only the third interstellar visitor ever detected, exhibits characteristics that challenge conventional explanations for comets. One of the most discussed anomalies is the presence of a jet of gas and dust pointing toward the Sun, an atypical behavior, given that comet tails are normally pushed in the opposite direction by radiation and solar wind. In a recent paper, Avi Loeb described this anti-tail as an anomaly that raises significant questions, asking why experts insist that 3I Atlas is a normal comet while ignoring such behavior. Another point of intense debate is the chemical composition of the gas emitted by 3I Atlas. Analysis revealed a nickel-to-cyanide ratio much higher than that found in known comets in our solar system. Loeb and other researchers have pointed out that the gas plume contains much more nickel than iron, a characteristic of some industrially produced metal alloys. These observations align with predictions and hypotheses put forward by Loeb, who previously suggested that the first interstellar object, Oumuamua, could have a technological origin. Regarding 3I Atlas, Loeb highlighted a set of at least 8 distinct anomalies, including its massive size, chemical composition, solar jet, and an orbital trajectory inclined only 5 degrees to the plane of the solar system, an alignment considered statistically unlikely. The controversy is heightened by anticipation surrounding high-resolution data captured in early October. NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, MRO, used its high-rise camera to photograph 3I Atlas during its approach to Mars, potentially providing the sharpest images of the object yet. However, as of mid-October 2025, these data have not yet been released to the public, a delay that has been described as a suspicious silence by some observers and publications. Loeb himself expressed hope that the high-rise team will release the images as soon as possible to help determine the true size of the object's nucleus. While most of the astronomical community interprets 3I Atlas as a natural interstellar comet with unusual chemistry, its array of unusual characteristics continues to fuel the hypothesis that it could be more than just an icy rock. The comet is expected to reach its closest point to the Sun around October 29, 2025. Starting on October 21st, the object will enter solar conjunction, temporarily hidden from view by the star. The scientific community eagerly awaits its reappearance in December for further observations. There's a fundamental difference between a mystery and a cover-up. A mystery invites investigation. A cover-up impedes it. And what we're witnessing with Comet 3I Atlas is no longer a mystery, but the most suspicious silence in modern space history. The anomaly scientists are seeing isn't just a cosmic curiosity. It could be the proof that Harvard scientist Avi Loeb predicted, and NASA's silence in response is what turns science into a conspiracy. To understand the gravity of the situation, we need to look at the facts that are being deliberately ignored. First, the object's behavior defies the laws governing comets. Astronomers have identified a jet of gas and dust pointing directly at the Sun. Consider the absurdity of this. Radiation and solar wind always push a comet's tail in the opposite direction. It's the fundamental rule. What we're seeing is the equivalent of a flying flag blowing directly into a hurricane. Avi Loeb has publicly described this anti-tail as a glaring anomaly, questioning why the scientific community insists on calling 3I Atlas a normal comet while ignoring such unnatural behavior. But this is only the beginning. The chemical composition of what's being ejected is even stranger. Analysis shows a much higher amount of nickel than iron, a characteristic not typical of comets but found in certain industrially manufactured metal alloys. This is where Avi Loeb's voice becomes prophetic. He had already shocked the world by suggesting that our first visitor, Oumuamua, might be of technological origin. He warned us to look for anomalies in future visitors. Now he points out that 3I Atlas has not just 1 or 2, but at least 8 distinct anomalous characteristics. Besides the anti-tail and metallic composition, there is its massive size and an orbital trajectory with an inclination of only 5 degrees, an alignment with our own solar plane that is considered statistically nearly impossible for a random object coming from another star. One anomaly is a fluke. 8 is a pattern. And this pattern leads us to silence. In early October, NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter used its high-rise camera, the most powerful in orbit around Mars, to photograph 3I Atlas. These images could settle the debate, showing the object's core in unprecedented detail. They could confirm whether it is a rock or a machine. Yet days pass, and this crucial data has not been released. This delay is already being called a suspicious silence. Loeb himself has publicly expressed his hope that the high-rise team will release the images as soon as possible. Why would NASA be withholding the most important photographs in human history? What did they see that frightened them so? Their silence is not passive, it is action, and they may be acting quickly because time for observation is running out. Starting on October 21st, the object will enter solar conjunction, completely hidden from us by the light of our sun. What is NASA hoping will happen during this period of darkness? NASA's silence isn't about what they don't know. It's about what they've already discovered, and time to hide the truth is running out. Tomorrow, October 21st, 3I Atlas enters solar conjunction, disappearing behind the glare of our star. This isn't just any astronomical event. It's a deadline, and it's the reason crucial images from the high-rise camera remain under lock and key. Because sources within the astrophysics community suggest the images didn't just show a rock. They confirmed the most impossible anomaly of all. The jet pointing toward the sun isn't a tail. It's a propulsion plume, the signature of an engine. The high concentration of nickel, once a chemical curiosity, now resembles the exhaust composition of an unknown metal alloy, burning in a vacuum. This fundamentally changes the game. We are no longer dealing with a passive object, but a vehicle under active control. Avi Loeb's theory has transcended speculation and become the only model that fits the data. The 8 anomalies he listed are no longer strange characteristics of a comet. They are technical specifications of a probe. The low inclination trajectory was not a statistical coincidence. It was a deliberate and efficient approach, using the plane of our own solar system as a highway. We are witnessing an arrival maneuver, and the blackout period imposed by solar conjunction is the perfect cover for the most critical phase of this maneuver. While the object is hidden from our eyes, it will reach its perihelion, the point of closest approach to the sun, around October 29th. This is the moment of maximum energy, the ideal time to use our star's gravity to perform a massive engine burn, a braking maneuver, or an orbital insertion without anyone on Earth witnessing it. NASA's silence isn't to shield us from what the object is. It's to keep us in the dark about what it's about to do. The agency isn't afraid to announce that it has found alien technology. It's paralyzingly panicked that when the object reappears before our telescopes in December, it will no longer be on an escape trajectory. The fear is that its new path will place it in a stable orbit around our sun. The fear is that our interstellar visitor will decide to stay. What NASA is hiding isn't a photograph. It's the fact that humanity may be about to gain a new and permanent neighbor. The countdown has begun. Today is October 20th. Tomorrow, 3I Atlas begins its passage behind the sun, and the curtain of silence will become a wall of lead. What happens next is no longer about science, it's about preparation. The high-rise camera images still hidden from the public are not just photographs. They are proof of a new era, and Earth's governments have no idea how to tell us that history as we know it is over. The truth they are hiding is seismic. The object is not adrift. It is on its way. The propellant plume, the metallic composition, the deliberate trajectory, each anomaly was a warning, and now the warnings are over. The observation phase is over. Over the next few days, as the object makes its invisible perihelion passage on October 29th, it will execute the maneuver it has been traveling for centuries. Our sun's gravitational energy will not be an obstacle, but a tool, a catapult that will help it break and settle into its final destination. NASA and other space agencies are not silent out of ignorance. They are silent because their supercomputers have already plotted the most likely path the object will take. And that path doesn't lead outward, into the interstellar void. It leads inward. It leads home. When 3I Atlas reappears before our telescopes in December, humanity will be confronted with a new reality in the sky. The debate will no longer be about its origin. The evidence will be irrefutable. The object's new trajectory will be that of a body in stable orbit within our solar system. The final revelation, The truth that is causing panic at the highest levels of power is that the visitor didn't come for a visit. It came to stay. The coordinated global silence was never about hiding the existence of a spacecraft. It was about hiding its intention. We are no longer the sole masters of our solar system. The question that will define our future is no longer, are we alone? That question has been answered. The question now echoing in the corridors of power, the question to which no one has an answer is, what happens when our new neighbor decides to introduce himself? Tomorrow, darkness begins. When 3I Atlas disappears behind the sun, the silence that has tormented us for weeks will become absolute. The debate is over. The anomalies are no longer coincidences. They are evidence of an intention we do not yet understand. Avi Loeb warned us, but the issue now transcends his vindication. We focused on the sky, observing an object millions of miles away, but perhaps we were looking in the wrong direction. While the world held its breath, waiting for a signal from space, the most important signal may have already been sent and received. The real anomaly may not be what's happening up there, but what's starting to happen down here.